Have you ever wondered how the United States can owe trillions of dollars year after year without running out of money? Every day, people hear headlines saying, America's national debt keeps growing. The numbers keep getting bigger, 30 trillion, 35 trillion, and even more. It sounds frightening, but here's the question. Who is actually lending all that money? Is there one giant bank quietly writing trillion-dollar checks? Or is there a secret group funding the US government? The truth is far more surprising because America's debt doesn't come from just one place. It's borrowed from millions of people, thousands of institutions, and even other countries. In fact, you might already be lending money to the US government without even realizing it. But here's something. Most people never ask if investors are willing to lend trillions of dollars. What makes them trust the United States? And what would happen if one day that trust suddenly disappeared? Would the economy collapse? Would the government run out of money? Or is there something much bigger keeping the system alive? By the end of this video, you'll discover who really owns America's debt, why they keep lending, and what could happen if they ever stopped. The answer may completely change the way you think about money, governments, and the global economy. So, let's begin. Who is lending money to the US government? So, who is actually lending trillions of dollars to the United States? The answer isn't just one country, and it isn't one giant bank. America borrows money from millions of different lenders. Let's break it down. First, ordinary Americans, yes, regular people, can lend money to the US government. How? By buying U.S. Treasury bonds. Think of a Treasury bond as a simple agreement. You lend money today, the government promises to pay you back later, plus a little extra called interest. Many people never buy these bonds directly, but they still own them. How? Because retirement accounts, pension funds, and mutual funds often invest in U.S. Treasury bonds. That means millions of Americans are helping finance their own government. Second, banks, insurance companies, and investment firms. These institutions manage enormous amounts of money. They need investments that are safe, stable, and easy to sell. That's why many of them buy Treasury bonds, not because they make huge profits, but because they are considered among the safest investments in the world. So every day, money flows from banks, investment funds, and financial institutions into the US government. But that's still not the whole story, because some of America's biggest lenders don't even live in the United States. They are governments, central banks, and investors from around the world. So why would other countries lend trillions of dollars to America? The answer may surprise you. Let's find out in the next section. Why do other countries keep lending to America? So, why would other countries lend trillions of dollars to the United States? What's in it for them? The answer is trust. Many investors believe the US government is one of the safest borrowers in the world. That's why countries like Japan, the United Kingdom, and many other nations own large amounts of US Treasury securities. But they aren't giving America free money. They are making an investment when they buy U.S. Treasury bonds. The US government promises to repay them with interest. For many countries, this is a safe place to store part of their national wealth, but foreign governments are only part of the story. Large investment firms, pension funds, insurance companies, and central banks also buy U.S. government debt. Why? Because they want a reliable investment that can help protect their money. Another reason is the US dollar. Since the dollar is used in global trade, many countries keep dollar-based assets, including US Treasury securities. This helps them manage international trade and maintain financial stability. But here's the important point. These investors keep buying only because they believe the United States will repay its debt. Confidence is everything. If that confidence ever begins to disappear, the situation can change very quickly. So, what would happen if investors stopped buying America's debt? Could the government keep borrowing forever? Or would the entire system face serious problems? Let's answer that important question in the final part. What happens if nobody wants to lend? So, what happens if one day nobody wants to lend money to America? At first, nothing dramatic may seem to happen, but underneath the financial system, pressure begins to build. To attract investors, the U.S. government would likely have to offer higher interest rates. Higher interest means borrowing becomes more expensive, not just for the government, but often for businesses, home buyers, and everyday consumers too. As borrowing costs rise, economic growth can begin to slow. Businesses may delay investments, families may spend less, and new jobs can become harder to create. But here's something important. A country doesn't fail simply because it has a lot of debt. The real question is, can it continue managing that debt year after year? As long as investors believe the U.S. economy is strong and the government will repay its obligations, many will continue buying Treasury securities. That's why confidence is one of America's greatest financial assets. History shows countries usually face crises not when debt becomes large, but when trust begins to disappear. So the next time you hear that America owes trillions of dollars, don't ask only, how much does it owe? Ask a better question. Who owns that debt? And do they still trust America? Because that answer can tell you far more about the future than the debt number alone. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to Wallet Blueprint for simple explanations about money, economics, banking, and the global financial system. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.